Lone Wolf Customs once again. Junkyard Charger. There's been lots of improvements and no improvements and everything else since the last video, because I've mostly been doing body stuff, which it might look rougher than shit, but it's fairly smooth. There's a little bit more work to do to get that completely right. Sanded on the handles, been working at doing some repairs here and there on some dents and dings. Still got that side I haven't even done yet. Since I have the Magnum, I took some of the pieces off and shot those, and I'm playing with ideas. It's got that texture shit still. I don't know if I'm wanting to smooth that out, because that's just primer, that's not paint. But I don't know if I want to smooth that out where it's smooth like an RT would be or whatever, and paint it white, or if I'm fine with the textured. Those panels would fit this car, so just kind of bouncing around trying to figure out some of the designing, since I don't have any money to buy any parts right now. Of course, I'm pretty sure you've seen the intakes on in the last video. Or I don't know what all you've seen. I can't remember. It's been a few days. I've been sick. But the intake's on, fully bolted in, gaskets and everything. I put the oil in case I haven't told you that. I took the carburetor, took it completely apart, bolted it, cleaned it real thoroughly and everything inside, and put a rebuild kit in it. Now it functions, or it should function. Took the air cleaner off the wrecker and put on it. Of course, I've been trimming and filling and modifying and put a brace in and doing all this shit. You know, there was a piece that was missing, this piece right there. So I made it. I made my linkage shit. I gotta get a little fitting for the cable to hook up. What the hell else have I done? Kind of played around with building some plates. I'm thinking about building a bar to go across or something to strengthen it. The motor's leaning slightly back, so I'm thinking about building some spacers and lift the transmission up slightly to get this thing closer to right, which, you know, would have meant I probably wouldn't have had a trim on that to fit the air cleaner, but extra clearance ain't gonna hurt nothing anywhere. What else am I doing? I've played around with trying to figure out why this door speaker over here don't work, which I think it's in a wiring issue, because the radio worked fine and the speaker works fine, but it ain't playing, so I gotta figure out what that problem is. Try to figure out the reverse lights, which I have to do some more research to find out if the transmission triggers it or if the shifter triggered it. Mostly I've just been doing body stuff since there ain't nothing else to do. The hood's slick as anything. Looks pretty good. And if I had primer, I ran out of primer, or I'd spray that, and that'd look probably pretty slick, since it's feels slick. You don't really feel any variation in it, so pretty sure I have not shown you something I did. For best effect, these things are terrible and notoriously terrible about the damn dash lights going out, which mine didn't work. So I freaking made them work. They're not perfect, but you can see them. And of course those light up, and the radio lights up, and all that wonderfulness, which how I did that is, I took them apart, and right up here I sanded the top area of the plastic piece, which is normally white, which I painted black. Sanded that, and then put an LED strip, 12 volt LED strip, all the way across, so it goes up from here, over, and then over all this, and hooked it in so when you turn the light switch on, they light up, which, you know, they're white. Now the LED strip that I used, I could have chose a bunch of different colors, and I had thought about doing them in green, I thought about doing them in blue and red and all these damn different colors, but I determined that just keep it simple, do it in white, it'll look clean, and honestly it was probably the brightest out of the bunch, even though I really don't need it to be the brightest. Got all the interior lights working. That one over there didn't work originally. Was unhooked. It's working now. Trying to think. Still ain't fixed the steering. It's not attached. I gotta get the parts for that. I gotta get pretty much all the wiring is done. I wired up the electric choke. The only thing left out there that needs to be wired is the wire that goes to the Hemi 6 box whenever I get the harness for that to hook it in. And I got to get the plug for the starter because I used a later Magnum starter than an earlier Magnum starter. So it's got a plug instead of a wing nut deal or a bolt shit. So I have to get that plug, which I haven't been to the junkyard to do that. And then the wiring's done then, other than reverse lights, which may have something to do with the shifter shit, or it may have to do with the transmission wiring, which I filled with the transmission wiring a little earlier and didn't get no reverse lights working. Of course, I don't even know if the bulbs are any good, so I need to figure all that out. What else? Anything else? Not really gotten anything accomplished really much, because, you know, I've been sick, hacking my lungs out and all that wonderful stuff. Brandy's been sick, and, you know, we got the new puppy, so we'd end up bringing the puppy down so it can potty and run around and play and stuff. So I ended up just sitting in the garage, and I might sit there and do nothing, or I may sit there and actually get motivated to go piddle with something. And if I piddled with something, it's whatever I wanted to piddle with, not really trying to accomplish anything, just doing something. But yeah, it's slowly coming along. It'd come along faster if I wasn't sick, but do like, subscribe, comment, all that wonderfulness. All right, bye.